Okay. What, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
We'll cut you off.
I've never had them cut me off because I always know how much time I get ahead of time. You know, years ago, this gentleman here, T.K. Anderson, and I had a conversation in T.K.'s living room. I don't know if you remember that or not. But, and I'm going to share some of the same comments that we said in that living room. There comes a point as a community when you have to realize that no one will do for you what you must do for yourself. Now, we have a huge amount of content on our website. We talk about ending poverty. We have an extensive plan for education, a 10-page plan. We have an extensive plan for revitalizing our economy, including things like investing in vocational and technical education, because some folks can make good livings as welders in an economy where we're spending all this money on construction. But at the end of the day, all the ideas about what others ought to do for us are meaningless in a culture that is controlled by powerful, vested, and corrupt elements. The gubernatorial race is the single best example of that. Governor Branstad's biggest contributor, who after he bought his way onto the Board of Regents, raised tuition on students, took a $500,000 no-interest loan, and is fear-free that he will be criticized by Governor Branstad's opponent because it's his business partner. Jack Hatch is Bruce Rastetter's business partner, who is Branstad's biggest contributor, so we see speeding troopers and hear about yawning kittens instead of the travesty of a man accepting a $500,000 no-interest loan after buying his way onto Regents. Because it's fixed. The game is fixed. So they're not going to solve our problems. The Democrats control the Senate and the Republicans control Terrace Hill in the House, and Farm Bureau always gets what it wants, and the Chamber always gets what it wants, and then Republicans and Democrats are told that they're supposed to garrote and stab each other to death because somehow there's this partisan and ideological divide that does not exist. It's not about Republicans and Democrats. It's about a powerful, vested, small group of individuals controlling the money and the power and getting the rest of us to fight each other while they line their pockets, or as I like to say, feed from the trough from which they constantly have us fill, regardless of our ideological slant. So the Iowa Party is not about Republican or Democrat. It's about accountability. Now, for those of you who believe that we cannot create change, we face a much less formidable opponent in this state than those who wanted to expand slavery north in the 1850s. On February 28th, 1854, about 50 people without the benefit of any of the kind of technology we have got together, and those 50 people formed a movement that 6 years later would elect this man. Some of you, if you don't think that a small, focused, disciplined group can make change, just keep this penny. We can, but we have to be realistic. Frederick Douglass said, I wasn't sure whether to quote Ice-T or Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass said, the limits of tyrants are prescribed by those whom they oppress. In other words, if you want to know why Davenport continues with high poverty, 62% of the families in this community cannot feed their children without the government. If you want to know why all of your schools are failing at the high school and middle school level, if you want to know why this community leads the state in issues like drugs and violence, is because the folks in this community have not come together against entrenched power and said, stop it. And this is where the Iowa Party comes in. Because with just 2% of the vote, we create a weapon that we've been constructing over a 5-year period that can transform this state. Not because we challenge traditional Republicans and Democrats, but because we have the power to say, judges, we're going to hold you accountable. School boards, city councils, county supervisors, we're going to hold you accountable. And even legislators, not through the traditional way, but if Craig Paulson and Mike Bronstone and Cindy over there don't do her job, we're going to primary them when they're most vulnerable. And we've done that before, a decade ago, and we're very successful. This time we know what we're doing. Hi, Joe. Been a long time. We're back. So we need your vote. Let's be honest. Unless something miraculous happens, aided by the Hatch campaign, Governor Branstad is going to be reelected. Personally, I'd like to see Governor Branstad appoint Jack to something very prestigious like he did Bruce Rasteller, since he's been such a strong ally of his. But together we can make a change. November 4th or sooner, vote Narcisse for governor. And with that 2%, we begin taking back and restoring our state to the people where she belongs.